I don't listen, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I would love.
You're you know, I know.
I don't think a morally perfect being could exist that was also all powerful. I don't think the Holocaust would have happened.
So this would be my answer to you when I say this, right? Initial sin and free will that we've been given, even though we now know what evil is and good is. So for example, right, you have the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden discusses having the tree of good and evil, right? So initially we didn't know what evil was because there is nothing good that comes from evil. It says the wages of sin are death. So the moment you sin, you spiritually die because you're not a perfect essence anymore. So what I believe is that when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of good and evil, and they learned what good and evil was fully in their conscience and in their soul, it introduced the ability to choose and live in a world where good and evil coexist. Which means that, for example, let's say someone punches us because they're mad. We want to punch them back because of the fact that we have evil inside of us and it makes us want to get retaliation. When Jesus says that we should turn the other cheek and say, like, feel empathy, the fact that they're feeling angry, and we should take after him. But let me get back to what I was saying. I was just explaining that because it's important here. So when evil gets introduced into someone's consciousness, what happens is they have the ability to do evil acts. And through demonic forces, because you got to remember that, I don't know if you personally believe that we're more than just the physical reality that we have, right? More than just the third dimension that we exist within. There's temptation and evil that exists within it. We have the ability to choose evil on our own. We have temptation. But people like Hitler, who are already on the wrong track when it comes to believing in something, is due to the fact that we have now stemmed from an initial event that unleashed evil into our consciousness. So he was the creator of that event. He created that event. You know what I'm saying? By doing all of that. And he created and set up the circumstances for all these Jewish people to die.
So like God's like sitting in heaven, right?
Yeah.
And he has like a stop the Holocaust button. Yeah, he chooses not to press it.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't he do that?
Right. All right, you're asking, why can't God just delete? Well, this is a branched question. Basically, the main point is any sort of evil. Why cannot God just stop evil or remove sin if he's all loving and all powerful, right?
Yeah, why couldn't you have pressed the stop the Holocaust button?
Because we know that God is sovereign in the sense that when he makes a command or makes a ruling, he does not contradict his own essence and choose to contradict himself because he stays within his word, right? You would agree that an all-powerful being, if he made a command or gave something or said something, he would hold firm in something that he said or gave, right?
Yeah.
If God gives us free will, and our free will choice is to create sin, not physically in the sense of create it, but bring sin into human existence, then if God were to remove sin, he'd be removing the free will, that which he gave us. So we chose sin. He gave us free will. Our free will was sin. If he removes sin, he's removing our free will by nature. And if you're saying, why doesn't he...
I don't want him to remove like sin, period. I want him to like... He should have pressed the stop the Holocaust button. That's all I'm saying.
But again, if he were to stop Hitler's free will from starting the Holocaust by your Holocaust stop button, then therefore he'd be removing the free will of Hitler.
God could have killed Hitler, and that would have saved like 12 million Jews, right? Or no, 12 million people, but 6 million Jews.
How much of an infringement do you think that would be if God struck someone down knowing what they were about to do?
Infringement on what?
Their free will. Because if God sees... Hold on. Ready? Listen to my point, please, without interrupting me. If God sees the future, because God exists in all states at once, unless limitation of omniscience, which I would argue for in certain instances. If God were to, let's say, see Hitler's future, right? If he were to see what the events were to take, let's say he's, all right, it's going to start here, it's going to start here. And God were to say, I'm going to kill him right here so that this doesn't happen, even though he chose to do that, and that's going to be his life choices. What is that?
Well, that's God killing somebody?
No. He sees that Hitler's about to do all this stuff.
Yeah, that's God killing somebody. Hitler still had free will for the entire duration of his life, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if he killed him before that free will could take place...
He had free will.
I'm saying if he killed him before that free will took place.
Well, this happens to everybody, though. Like, you die, and then you lose your free will because you're dead, right?
Huh?
So do you think, like, anybody dying is an infringement on their free will? Obviously not, because they don't exist anymore.
What kind of argument is that?
Hitler had free will for the entire duration of his life, correct?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so when did he not have free will?
He didn't.
At what point was it?
He always had free will.
Okay, so like we're on the clear then, right? Like God can do that. God could kill Hitler.
No, what are you talking about? I'm saying.
Okay, so
hold
so
on. You're
who
not
who
letting me
who lacks
speak.
free will? Just so we're
You're
clear.
not
Just
letting
so we're
me
clear.
speak. You're not letting me speak.
I'm
Please let me say this. You're not letting me speak, dude. I said Hitler had free will the entirety of his life, right? And then you say, "Oh yeah, that means that God could have killed Hitler." What? What kind of comparison is that?
If God kills Hitler, he will have free will for the entire duration of his life, correct?
I'm saying that if God saw a future circumstance where Hitler had his free will choice and killed him at that exact moment, he already knew that the rest of Hitler's life was going to go like that, which means it's an infringement on free will because of the fact that he killed him at that moment.
We have this world where like God kills Hitler. He could have like made it like this from like the start. So like he knew that Hitler would do this, so he made some natural means that would cause Hitler's death, like a heart attack.
Right.
Or like he like brought some assassin into existence or something.
I know what you're arguing. Saying that if he dies in this instance, well, then he had no free will left to use. So there's no issue here. I understand the argument you're coming from, right? My response would be from an omnipotent perspective, a person who's above and sees all of time. From that perspective, it's an infringement because at the end of the day, God is the only one who knows that he technically infringed on free will at that moment. So hold on, you're looking at it from a human perspective, saying, "Well, he wouldn't know he didn't have free will because he'd be dead." Hold on, let me finish.
You're saying hold on, but you're misconstruing my argument.
I'm not misconstruing. You literally just said to me, "Hold on."
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You die and then you lose your free will because you're dead, right? You die and then you lose your free will because you're dead, right?
Yes, it is. You just said to me.
I didn't say he wouldn't know. I didn't say he wouldn't know. I said he wouldn't like. No, that's not what I said.
Then what you said?
If you don't want to track, it's okay. Like you're not tracking, that's okay. Listen, I'll clarify the argument. Just so we're clear. Right. So something that doesn't exist can't have free will or lack free will because it doesn't exist. Right. Something that doesn't exist can't have free will or lack free will because it doesn't exist. Right. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. And so, like, when he dies, like, not just like from a knowledge standpoint, not like epistemologically, just like objectively, he can't have or lack free will because he doesn't exist anymore. Right?
Yes, exactly. That's the point I'm arguing.
Okay, like really
let
elementary.
me answer.
I can clarify
elementary. Keep condescending me, bro. Keep condescending me, bro.
Let me. Even then, like God made everything, right? And so he made me intentionally. He made whatever would kill me, right? He made heart attacks. He made yada yada. And so God is actively ending my life, right? He designed the whole time.
Whoa. So you're comparing God literally going to Hitler and killing him to God making a creation, which then inevitably ends to your death, which is aging.
Yeah, God causing my death is going to be
okay, but again, the creation itself, God creating creation itself, is not the cause of your death in the sense of God's hand literally killing you. What is that false equivalence? That's an insane false equivalence.
Pause for a sec. God caused my death, correct?
No.
Okay, is my death a thing? Okay, is my death a thing? Okay, is my death a thing?
You're gonna set up a bunch of false premises.
God, just calm down. Just calm down.
Honestly.
I hope you choke.
You know, I know more about responses to the problem of evil than you do.
Just calm down. God made everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is my death a thing?
Yes.
Okay. Can you put those two together?
Right. So I'll explain to you why. You again just compared God's physical sense going to Hitler's life and ending his life with his own conscience, saying, I'm going to end Hitler's life to avoid all this, versus saying, yes, God created this creation, including old age, meaning God technically killed me because I'm a part of his creation. Again,
it's not
thank
a
you for the
technicality.
false.
So you're not tracking.
I am tracking. You're just making horrible arguments.
Calm down.
I'm not upset. I mean, it seems like you are. Maybe you're projecting a little bit.
What your view is, I'm asking you a question. It's not even a proposition.
It's rhetorical in the sense of trying to prove a point in an argument on top of an argument.
The question itself doesn't prove anything. Questions can't stand in those kinds of relations, right? Things that prove other things are things that raise the probability of other things or entail other things. Questions are not even propositions. They aren't the relata of things like entailment or raising the probability or confirming. Right? So questions are not straw mans. Questions don't prove anything. This is really, really like, these are very basic very clear to prove anything. I can't use questions. You're still confused.
Wait a minute. You can't use questions to prove anything, right?
Yes, because
I'm going to prove to you a point. Ready? Ask me the question again. You can't use questions to prove a point. Ask me the question.
Is death a thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Right.
So we agree that God made everything.
Right.
And my death is a thing.
Yep.
So therefore,
Yep.
God made my death.
Right.
And we
so
both construe
okay.
making as causing, correct? Like you,
sure,
if you make something,
whatever.
I'm
just agreeing to whatever you're agreeing with. Sure. Yep.
So God caused my death.
Yeah. Sure.
Correct?
Yep. Sure.
Okay. So we're on the same page. So God causing Hitler's death and God caused my death, right?
Wait a minute.
Right.
Ready? You just used questions in order to prove your point,
Okay,
even though. Even though.
Very basic. God made everything. Death is a thing. Therefore, my death is a thing, right? So that God made my death. God caused my death.
Right. So
Right.
can I ask you this?
Go ahead.
So when you say God made your death, did God literally sit there and say, you're going to die?
I don't think he said anything.
Right. So then did God, fine, let's say he doesn't have to say anything, but I'm using it as a symbolic moment for the situation that we're discussing. When you die, did God say, you're dead, you're going to die right now, and actually command it into existence? Or did it happen by natural cause?
God caused my death.
No. Answer my question, because I'm asking you a question now. Did God say, hold on, let me ask it.
Okay, I don't think God exists, right? So that's my answer.
No, wait a minute. Aren't you the same one that said that you're applying to my logic to prove your point?
I'll answer the questions from my view. From my view, God doesn't exist.
All right.
So God
oh my God, this is laughable. Answer my question. Did God literally kill you with his own intention, or did you die from natural cause? Answer my question.
In my view, I died from natural causes. On your view, you would say God caused your death.
No, I would not. And I already explained why. So thank you for admitting for the false equivalence. Thank you. You're saying all things are caused by God. My death is a thing. My death was caused by God. Right? That's your argument.
Yes. Is that what you just said?
No, I said all things are created by God in the sense of him creating existence itself.
Okay.
So let me now keep going, and please let me speak. Again, all things are created by God in the sense of creation itself. When you say my death is a thing, right? You're misrepresenting the argument in this way. Let me finish, please. Because we believe that everything was created by God in the sense of creation itself. We were given free will to choose to do things that are outside of God's will, right? So let's clarify that what I'm saying right now. We have that clarified. Now, when you say my death is a thing, I said it's a more apt description would be my death is an event. It happens. It's not something that's created when the universe is created, right? Someone just dying doesn't happen when God goes, let there be light, and there's a big bang. An event, hold on, let me finish. Creation itself was created, right? Death is an event that happens. Yes, God set up the system in which people die. But like I've said since the very beginning of this conversation, God does not individually kill people. Their deaths are an event that partakes in a world where they die of natural cause, or they die of this, or they die of that. God doesn't remove them and say, you're dead now, and sets up the event to happen. It happens. So that's why I'm arguing with this premise that you set up to begin with.
Okay. So do you think God could have made a button, and this button doesn't kill Hitler directly, but it just, sprinkles poison on his food or something?
But that
So
would
he's
still...
doing it indirectly.
Okay, but again, what do you mean indirectly? Because God is actively the one making it happen, so it is direct.
Okay, so what if God set up like a Rube Goldberg machine, where there's like this immense causal distance between God and Hitler, and it leads to Hitler dying? Maybe it could be like a heart attack, or like an assassin. You could drop leaflets on somebody's house that says like, kill this guy, he's going to start the Holocaust. Could be anything like this, right?
Yep.
A very large causal distance, and it leads to the death of Hitler.
Right.
Could God press that button?
Again, he's still directly killing him because God knows the event and the finalized result that's going to occur from him setting this up.
It's because you're a being.
I don't... Listen, bro, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
I would love...
You're a
You know, I know more about responses to the problem of evil than you do.
Just keep
Responses.
going, bro.
You're
Your pride is almost baffling. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Okay, honestly.
I hope you choke.
Wait, what do you hope I do?
What?
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
I didn't say anything.
Right.